Welcome to another episode of the Quotes and Mirrors podcast. I am Tyrell James.
Hello, I am Uncommonterry. How are y'all doing?
You want me to answer for them, or we gonna let them answer?
Oh, well, you can answer for them. I was actually just thinking, you said, welcome to another episode. And I'm like, man, if I could get him to say, welcome to episode number, then I'd be good to go.
Welcome to episode number 8.
Done. That's what I was thinking anyway. I was just testing you. Yes, indeed. Welcome to episode number 8, Quotes and Mirrors. I think we will continue to say this part, and that is if you are a first-time listener, what we do here is we find quotes, we take quotes, we twist them around, we flip them up, smack them, rub them down. Oh, no! Yeah, I knew you was going to do. I figured you'd chime in on that, you know. All right. I'm a dad, man. Sometimes I get a little corny. You know what I mean? But we just break them apart and see how we can see them from a variety of perspectives. Sometimes it's a debate. Sometimes it's just exchange of information. Either way, welcome, lend an ear, leave a comment, a note, a suggestion even. We're looking forward to it.
Good or bad? We take it on.
Yeah, it's all good, really. Mm-hmm. It's all good because you had to watch if you was gonna leave a comment.
Exactly.
All right, so we want to get into today's quote. You ready?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, today's quote. This is just one of mine. Dare people. Okay, I said it. All right. At any rate, this quote is success. Success is less about the company you own and more about the company you keep. Amen. Clap it up, clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. I like that. So, this particular quote, I like this one. It actually came to me in reference to me trying to think of like where I wanted to go in life and what I wanted to achieve, and business-wise, what I wanted to achieve, and many things that I have ideas for, but I don't actually start. And I started to feel like a failure because I hadn't actually done any of the things that I wanted to do. And so I had failed in that particular lane, but I definitely had to realize that I was not a failure overall because I hadn't built a company, because I have built a family. I have a circle of friends. I have a circle of people that, by the way, are constantly poking me, encouraging me to build their company. But that's when it came to me that the success is definitely, for me, more about, the company that you keep. I do still want to build. But it's definitely becoming like, okay, who am I going to build with? What am I building for? Where am I building to? That type of thing. And so that's where it comes from. Anyway, what is your particular take on it, sir?
I always have more than one.
Yeah, that's appreciated.
So first, I want to start with, and I already knew where you were going with this when you said the quote,
Mm-hmm.
but in terms of just having an actual business,
okay,
owning a business versus keeping the business. So you can own a business and still not be successful.
Okay.
You're successful when you're able to keep the business.
Okay.
It's like, if you think about it, the world is changing constantly every single day. Then there's uncertainty. There are ups and downs. There's COVID. There's, the unexpected. And if you're able to last through all of these things, if you're able to keep the business through all of these things, to keep the business that you own, then it's success. So it's less about the business that you own and rather more about the business that you keep.
Quite literally. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I hadn't actually thought about that. I'm not even gonna lie to you because that's not where it came from for me. So
right.
I hadn't thought about just the very literal interpretation And I want to say surface, but only because that's the obvious. When I'm thinking about it now, I'm like,
Right.
well, that's actually the obvious part
Right.
of this situation. So now, question though, when you say keep, right?
Hmm.
Because the thing is, like, you could have a business, and well, actually, I guess maybe we should even define business, right? Because you can start a company, and you can own a company, but you could maybe not actually do any business or not be profitable, right?
Hmm.
So, so I guess what I'm getting to is the success of the company and the keeping of the company based on the profit.
You said the profit.
Yeah. Does the prophet decide whether or not, okay, this is a success or not? Because from what I understand, now I don't have any research to point at, but from what I've heard, so on several occasions, Tesla is not profitable.
Hmm.
Huge company producing cars, other stuff. Now they're moving into energy and things, solar energy, whatever. But apparently they're not profitable.
I
So
would have to see more about that. I don't know if I necessarily believe that. And they can come out and say that they're not profitable. As far as I'm concerned, you're lying. How, how, how are you able to continue to flourish in this industry and during these uncertain times? Yo, I hate that I just said that because I got so sick and tired of hearing these commercials. In these uncertain times, I was like, yeah, I swear. Yo, COVID drove me crazy just because of the commercials. But
right, right, right.
um but like through with everything that's changing the way it's changing and all of these unexpected ups and downs and stuff like that, and you're expanding, you're getting into energy, you're doing all these other things, and you're not profiting. How are you doing that?
Well,
Go
I
ahead.
mean, but if you think about it, like, because profit would essentially mean surplus, right? Profit is
Mhm.
once you have satisfied the cost to operate
Mhm.
across the board, whether it be supplies, materials, employees, your own salary, yada yada yada, and to still have an excess. That would
Mhm.
essentially be profit, right? Because
Right.
if I owe $500 and I make $500 and I pay $500, I broke even,
Mhm.
right? So
Right.
so but 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 is that even successful, right? Because that's why I was kind of questioning as to whether or not profit actually decides success. I don't want to get too far off of what we're
Okay,
talking
well
about.
then let's go to the gray area.
Uh
I
oh.
guess, I guess it depends on your definition of success. If your definition of success is simply to own a company and
hmm
you break even, then it shouldn't matter
You're right.
because
You're right.
your definition of success is just ownership. That's it. So breaking even is whatever, as long as I own the company. But I'm looking at it in terms of how do you expand without already profiting in one area?
Well, now the interesting, I mean, in reference to that, you can expand simply because you have further investment, or because maybe you haven't blown the whole investment into one area. Maybe it was reserved for the expansion into this other area, and it was just a matter of time before you actually did that. So, um, and I say that to say simply, if I got $10,000, but the first project that I'm put out is only five, then when you see me put out another project, it easily could look like that first project that was 5K was successful, and because of that profit, now I'm expanding into another lane. When the truth
Hmm.
is, I have 5,000 reserved for this expansion anyway.
Hmm.
You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Yeah, yeah. You just came over to the gray area. You know that, right?
Well, I think I actually, I guess you would say the gray because that's manipulation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if I present to you that first project
Hmm.
without knowledge of the reserve that I have for the second project, you as the consumer see me as being profitable because I'm able to do the second project. Truth is, I was doing it all along.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just like
Yeah.
with these iPhones that come out, every new version. That's because they got 100 options and they only release 10, 15 at a time.
Hmm.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But it ain't
Right.
like some new innovation. It's a cycle. You know what I mean? But nonetheless, in that situation, I would say, like you were saying earlier, if your goal is simply to own a company and you break even and you keep a company, then no, profit would not be what decides whether or not you're successful. And it does fit the literal and very surface, or not very surface, but initial meaning that I actually missed of this quote. That's so funny to me, man, because sometimes you have a habit of diving deep. Not you in particular, but me in particular. I have a habit of
No, me too.
well, when you dive so deep and the you become a bottom feeder. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
To where that's where you survive off of going to the bottom, and the surface
Mhm.
essentially, so you never come up for air and you don't see
Mhm.
just what's there. That's so funny to me right now because I certainly did not think about that at all.
Because I mean, sometimes you're just overthinking.
Yeah,
You you
That's me most of the time.
yeah, exactly. But you're not a surface thinker, so
I,
you,
I, I should have the ability though, right?
especially being as black and white as you are. Yes, you should.
I should definitely have the ability. So when I come to the surface, I shouldn't be gasping for air. It should be an intentional, a planned situation. But nonetheless, I just in reference to this, I also listen to a business podcast. Listen to well, I won't drop a whole bunch of names, but I listen to the
I
podcast,
know who you're talking about, though.
right? And they talk about the company, and people talk about being, rich but not being happy.
Hmm.
And so, and I guess in that case, success here, if the goal is to be happy, then
Hmm.
the company that you own, while it could be generating ridiculous profit, people talk a lot about rich people being depressed,
Hmm.
and this obviously would piggyback on how money can't buy you happiness. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Hmm.
And
I was actually going to go there too, but go ahead though.
well, the thing is, I think it's kind of a strange thing to me to be like if your wealth wasn't just given to you,
Hmm.
right? It's kind of strange to me to think about you being able to build something brick by brick, and so in doing so, you obviously would be celebrating accomplishment after accomplishment after as you build. So you
Hmm.
get to the point where you're rich. I'm like, where does the depression come in? Because for all that you have built, how is there space for you to be depressed? You know what I mean? I don't know. Go ahead. Go ahead. You sound like you're going.
I think I think that there's space to be depressed because money doesn't make you happy. Money doesn't do anything but give you security. It's an instrument, and I believe that's why people they attain a certain level of success, and everybody's looking at them. And it's like, yo, how are you depressed and you have all this money, you have all of these things? Yeah, because this does not make me happy. Money does not equate to happiness.
True, but see, but what I'm saying is, I'm not even talking about the money. What I'm talking about is if you have the wherewithal and the character to build something brick by brick, the profit ends up being a byproduct. So it
Mhm.
seems to me if you're building something of quality, you're not just snaking cats and undercutting and putting out something cheap. You're building something of quality. When you get to the top of it, and
Mhm.
you have that's kind of okay, look, I'm rich, like you know what I mean, that's
Right.
cool, but it's straight it doesn't seem to me that the same man or the same woman that is able to build this thing from the bottom, and each level that you get to and what it takes to get to those levels, like it doesn't seem to fit that money is what's driving you.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? It
Right.
seems to me that you're driven by accomplishment, but you're driven by resolution, whatever it is that the different problems that you're solving and that you're pushing through. So that when I think about that, it's kind of weird to me. I don't really understand how you build that and you end up depressed. It just seemed like there would be so many facets to your character that would be positive. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
at that point, that's when you got to go deeper to, exactly what it was the person dealing with. They could have been dealing with depression prior to becoming successful. And depression is a disease. So when you start acquiring these businesses and building this wealth and building and just becoming successful at doing the things that you've always wanted to do, you may still have this disease. It's like cancer ain't
Mm-hmm.
gonna stop you. If you're building a business and you get cancer, I
Mm-hmm.
mean that it doesn't necessarily mean that you're no longer successful or that the can let me see, how do I want to word this? So basically, okay, is in going back to it being a disease.
Mm-hmm.
If this is a disease that you have been dealing with all your life, something else was the cause
Mm-hmm.
of the disease. It wasn't the lack of this particular business. So
Mm-hmm.
just because you get this business and you become successful at this business doesn't mean that it erases the disease. That's a
Ah,
completely separate issue.
okay.
So you could be
Okay.
sitting on all of this money, all of this success, and let me stop
Mm-hmm.
going to the money because, like you said, it's not necessarily about the money. But I could be completely successful at the things that I'm doing, but
Mm-hmm.
I could be a wreck inside. What about the
Mm-hmm.
person who is an introvert and being forced to be in settings where they have to communicate with people and
Mm-hmm.
they just have to interact with the masses? It causes them an incredible amount of anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter how successful I am hating every moment of having to deal with you people.
No,
And
right, right. I think that's valid. People don't
yeah,
always they don't necessarily dig the celebrity, part of the thing.
right,
Which, by the
right,
way, actually, it just kind of furthermore, as far as it being the company you keep, you knowing who you are and keeping a firm grasp on who you are in the midst of your success, right?
hmm,
Is actually even, I'm just reading because it keeps scrolling across the screen. So I keep reading it and I keep thinking of different things. And so, in the way of it being the company that you keep, yeah, I think definitely what we just described was like, regardless to how big it is and how profitable it might be and whatever money, you have to be part of the company that you keep.
right,
You know what I mean? You having to be, self-aware and to value that that awareness.
hmm,
You got to place a value on it so that people can't just infiltrate, and set off on their own path, or shall I say, try to set you off on their path, right?
hmm,
So,
right.
definitely, again, just another perspective about being able to keep myself in the midst of whatever success, whatever external success I may achieve. You know what I mean? So
Right. Yeah.
that's why I love this, man. I love because sometimes I feel like we get into rapping about it, and I can easily go left because my mind be racing as I'm talking. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
I'm thinking to myself, what must the audience be thinking? Where is he going now? You know what I mean? But oftentimes, I need to just talk things out. You know what I mean?
Right.
For them
Hmm.
to actually come full circle, and it's not always. Matter of fact, it's never just one circle. You know what
Right. Yeah.
I mean?
Well, we,
Never.
we
So
we try to do the show for about an hour, so we need about an hour's worth of circles. So
yeah, yeah, I would say at least an hour worth of circle. So
yeah, yeah. So all right, I'll tell you what, I got another circle.
go ahead.
So Billy D. Williams.
I
Look
have
at my
never, I have never been in a conversation that started Billy D. Williams. Let's go.
He said in Mahogany,
Mm-hmm.
success is nothing without someone you love to share it with.
Oh, so you're doing a quote on top of a quote. That's what you're doing?
Yeah.
All right. So I
So
that's
and
definitely, go ahead.
it's about the company that you keep,
Right.
having somebody to share that success with.
Yeah. I think again, like, how's it even like you have to I think I would have you'd have to purpose to be alone. Like you would have to do things to isolate yourself.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, as you make this climb, like you would have to be just burning bridge after bridge after bridge, because again, the company you keep, you got somebody that wants to support, somebody that wants to help, somebody that wants you to achieve. Like, yo, that is like the best feeling in the world. You know what I
Right.
mean? When you
Yeah.
have that support, man, and like you said, success is nothing but someone you love to share it with. Like, not just the success. Like, this isn't just about me buying you a car. This is about you being with me when my car was a Kia and the radio didn't work. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is nuts. You know what I mean? And so, because, and I use that particular example because me and my wife on our first date, I had a Kia
Hmm.
and the radio didn't
Radio
work.
didn't work.
You know? And I was like, we might just have to take your car. And she was like, or we could just have conversation. We could
Mm.
just talk. We don't need the radio. Let's just continue to talk. And I was like, well, get in the car. Let's go. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because that was super dope to me. You know what I mean? Because I didn't have a whole lot to throw out there to give her material wise, but that wasn't her interest anyway.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, by the way, on the end of that particular story, you had told me about like a miniature golf course down in I think it was La Plata.
Uh-huh.
And when we got there, it was tumbleweeds rolling through that what used to be a miniature golf place. So I'm just gonna
My,
tell you
but look, you gotta,
what.
like it's about perspective. Now it's tumbleweeds out there. The golf place isn't there, but there's this huge space for you to do whatever you want to do.
Um,
Take by the bell.
well, I'm not gonna take that call right now. First of all, because I'm not gonna let you slide out of that BS you just shoveled up. But I will digress back to that. It was just, it was super dope for her to be in that position to just say, let's just rap. And while I don't own a company just yet, the one I kept, oh boy, the company I keep. Thank you, Jesus. I'm trying to tell you.
But that's important though, to have somebody that is with you through the struggle, that believes in you through the struggle, and is there with you during the success.
Right, right, absolutely.
Rather than somebody who just after you've become successful, they decide, okay, now I want to come along. Because again, with success being about the company you keep, if you were successful and people want to be around you simply because you are successful or because of what they believe that you can do for them,
Hmm.
then that essentially could lead to failure
Right. Okay.
because
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
have the right
Ooh.
company around you.
Ooh. So you saying you could actually lose. You could lose the company because of the company.
Yes.
Nice. Nice. Man, I'm trying to tell you, they be saying light skinned people don't think deep enough. But
I ain't even
but
light skinned, yo.
I mean, if only in comparison to me. You like you light skinned for this joke. I bet you that. You light skinned. You you light skinned for this joke, that's for sure. But yeah, but that's another thing I didn't think about that, and it's in it, the quote is really saying that. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? It's
Yeah.
definitely saying that. It definitely lends itself um to that truth of yeah. You could definitely lose your company because of your company.
Hmm.
That's super. Yeah, I appreciate that.
That's what I'm here for, man. You know,
Yeah, I mean, it was the darker side of things that I'm talking about holding your company up with the company's keep, and you talking about somebody sweeping your leg, but it's okay
listen,
because
you want to get dark? I got somewhere else to go with this.
oh,
It can get darker.
well, I can get darker, but let me hear your attempt at at increasing the melanin.
Let's take this off of businesses and success and take it to relationships.
Okay,
Owning versus keeping. Owning a person.
what?
I know. Now I'm not talking about slavery. I'm
Yes,
talking
you
about
are. That's the definition. By definition, that is precisely what you're talking about.
I'm talking about people who are so insecure that they feel as though they have to control the person that they're in the relationship with to the point of them feeling as if they own them.
Okay, now hold on a second. To the point of feeling like now what? So you're gonna have to tell me how this just how I don't get directly right now. It's not very clear to me how that ties in to this statement. So I need you to elaborate a little further.
So insecure people have to control everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so essentially in controlling it, when you're in a controlling relationship, the person is trying to own you.
Okay.
Do you,
No, I got
do I
that
say
part.
it?
But
Oh, okay, 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 go ahead.
so I'm trying to see directly with this statement. Like, bring it full circle for me.
So the success of the relationship is not
Ah,
about what
okay,
you do
okay.
to own the person, but what you do to keep the person.
Thank you. Thank you. So I was like, wait a minute, I don't know, and I was open to it because you done already gave me two perspectives that I hadn't considered before, right? So I'm like, wait a minute, I just need to be just a little patient. It's coming. It's coming. A little bit more priming. It's coming, and there it is. Boom.
My
Okay,
bad. I hit a couple of red lights. My bad. I got
it's
there.
okay. It's all right. So the success of the relationship is not definitely okay. That is you did say dark. That's definitely dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, for that situation. And I guess I didn't think because I say company in or because it says company in the quote, then you don't think about the people aspect
Right.
until the end of the quote. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So yeah, that is definitely dark. I can't imagine. Yeah. What kind of person considers it success to be able to own a person, or you know what I
Right.
mean? Like
Yeah. And
that's nuts.
right.
Go ahead.
And so here's another gray area, and I don't like this gray area. You know, I'm big on the gray area, but I don't like this one. If your definition of success is to own somebody, then
Mhm.
at that point it becomes more about the company you own and less about the company you keep because you're keeping them because you own them.
Yeah, um that's not fun. I don't like that one at all. I don't did that. Matter of fact, if you are essentially owned and being kept in a basement, but somehow can listen to this podcast, I need you to find a way out. Okay. I need you to find a way out. All right. I don't know. A window, dig a hole, knock down the door, pull off some MacGyver or something to where something explodes or something. But I need you to find a way out because there is no, well, I won't say there is no success in being kept, but not being kept against your will. That's just crazy. See where you took this, dude? You took this way over. Like,
I know.
that was, that was
That's my
pretty,
twisted brain though. I got
what's that?
that's my twisted brain. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can't knock it because I love when it just goes to other places. Because I ain't the only person that didn't think about this stuff. You know what I
Right.
mean? Somebody sat down, somebody pressed play so that they can listen to this, and they already had an idea of what we was gonna talk about. They already
Hmm.
had in their head they was looking, had some expectations, and bow, you say stuff like kidnapping, right? So and they're like, wait a minute, hold on a second. Where are we going? So that's what I love about this. That's what I love about this. But let me ask though, is there another perspective that you have before just no segue? Let me just ask a direct question. Did you have another one already queued up?
No, no, not necessarily. Just kind of expounding more so on some of the other ones.
Yeah, okay. I was just curious, but I felt like, let me see if I can get the full scope of what's about to happen right now. But but this, I would actually like to. I think I would like to ask some successful people, like, you know, just achieving the balance in this, right? Because
Mhm.
sometimes you still got to keep things separate, right? So you have success in the company that you own, but then you also have success in the company that you keep, but they're not connected. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Because maybe because as far as the company you keep, maybe being on a more personal side of things, maybe they're a bit more emotional about this, or would be a bit more emotional about decisions that you might make concerning business,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
So you have to know who can be the most effective, or be productive, or be valuable where, right?
Mhm.
Because in this company that you own, it might take some situations where you just gotta, like we were talking about earlier, you just gotta sweep the leg. Everybody can't go, right?
Mhm.
Everybody
Right.
can't go. But you could be telling your wife, I'm gonna have to cut, I'm gonna have to cut little Larry, right? And
Dad,
she
you just
like,
went to our cousin.
well, I was just about to say, because she'd be like,
Little
but that,
name.
but she'd be like, she could be like, that's your cousin. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
okay. Okay. All
You
right.
know what I'm saying? So, and truth be told, Larry, I apologize, sir. I did not mean for that to be so spot on. That's just the name that came to
And you
mind.
definitely wouldn't be one that we would cut out either.
No, 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 not at all. Not at all. God made beats. Shout out. You know what I mean? But but I'm just saying, everybody can't go. And then at the same, so you can't there has to, I guess there can be a bridge
Mhm.
necessarily, but sometimes maybe not a bridge as much as a swing. You know what I mean? So that you yourself can take things to one side or the other,
Mhm.
because the company that like I said, they can be a more personal, more emotional perspective, and won't allow you to maneuver the way that you need to maneuver in business. You know what I mean? And so I didn't think about separating them either. I definitely thought about it being just one, um, a compilation of effort to say that, obviously what you want is success in both realms. You want to be successful in business as well as you're successful in your personal endeavors, and the company that you have um, influencing you and supporting you on both sets and both sides. You know what I mean? But
Right.
I didn't think about separating them. And I definitely want to experience this. Like I want to build more, and I want to get to where, yeah, I can. This isn't just a good idea, but more a principle that I built business on. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I think it's important also that your company knows their roles um, in building the business or achieving that success of the company.
Hmm.
Because everybody, like you were saying, everybody can't go.
Hmm.
But even the ones that do go have to understand their role in what they're doing. Everybody has to play their position and not overstep their boundaries. So if in the process to building a successful business, like you are the idea person, but I know that I can't rely on you to do the footwork, then
Mm.
don't come at me trying to ask about doing footwork. That's not your
Hmm.
role.
Hmm.
You know, you bring the ideas, And for the other person, you may have somebody who there's no ideas, there's no footwork, it's just emotional support. That's
Mm,
it.
mm,
But they got to know their role, because what may happen is they may get an idea
mm,
and they think that this is an incredible idea, and then they want to share this idea with you. And because you are in a position to make things happen, they think that you should do it. I've been in your corner, I've been
mm,
supporting you emotionally, I've been your biggest cheerleader. Here, you need to take this idea and do something with it. And they don't always understand, that's not the way it works. It's not the
mm,
way it works. So people also, your company, they need to know their roles
mm.
and what they are capable of doing and what they're not capable of doing.
Okay. First of all, I agree with that. And second, I guess what you just brought up, it's also makes me think of how important the team is, right? You not being an island, right?
Hmm.
Because
Right.
whatever company you build, you're not gonna do it on your own.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Plain and simple. Nobody. You're not gonna know everything and be
Hmm.
available for to respond to every twist and turn. You just
Hmm.
not, because first of all, even if you were capable of that, it's not smart
Right.
to do that. There is no wisdom in that. I heard I was listening to another podcast the other day, and I heard the term decision fatigue,
Hmm.
and that you can get to a point of decision fatigue where you have you wake up, you got a good night of sleep, but you wake up with a good amount of energy and you prepped. Those first few decisions that you make are the most clear decisions. But if you don't delegate and you find yourself being the only one making any decisions, eventually you're going to get, and when I say eventually, I'm talking about later that same day, you're going to
Right.
get to a point where you got into decision fatigue because your brain has been dissected in so many different areas to make decisions, which is why a lot of CEOs like uh what's his name, Steve Jobs, um he wears black turtleneck and jeans every day.
Hmm.
Zuckerberg wears gray t-shirt and jeans every day. And a lot of these cats that do this, they have this very simple wardrobe because it's one less decision that they don't
Right.
have to make.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so
Hmm.
I definitely didn't think about this. I also, like I said, I didn't think about that. I didn't think about so much the importance of the team in order for the importance of the company, because like you could have like I see it on Shark Tank all the time, where people are like, "Yo, this actually is a good company, but I can't invest in you." You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Yeah, and so they're saying like, "Yo, this is a decent product. Like, I like where this is going, but I
Hmm.
don't want you to come with me." So
Right.
it's been several times where they would actually tell the person, "Let's do this. I like this idea. I like this company, but I don't feel like we can work together. Let me give you this amount for 100% of your company." You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Which is
Right.
nuts. It's
Right.
crazy. It's crazy because the thing about something like that is a lot of times you build a company for the purpose of being acquired, right?
Hmm.
But you want to be acquired after you've built something, sizable. So then when
Hmm.
it comes to acquisition, then you're gonna make some bread. You know what I
Right.
mean? So,
Hmm.
but when a cat offers you 100, offers you, a valuation for 100% of your business at the point of your pitch, you already, which is crazy. You know that the idea is dope, and you know this will go somewhere, but you also are forced with possibly accepting what he's saying, in that if this business fails or peaks too soon and plateaus, it's going to be because of me. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's horrible. But I didn't think about it, and I'm gonna I have to pay more attention to that, because even like I said it, but yeah, it's definitely about the team, because you could just have a company and just you yourself focusing on having had the company and established a company, but you ain't your team. You ain't got no company because
Hmm.
you ain't got no company. You
Right.
know what I mean? And so I did. That's why, again, that's why I love this, man, because immediately it comes out and I think it's slick. You know what I mean? It got some
Mhm.
appeal to it, but it's necessary for me to, to have these conversations to break it down. That's why I talk so much, by the way, real rap, because I'm trying to
You
figure
gotta talk
things
your
out.
way through it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I'm trying to figure
Mhm.
things out. And
Yeah.
so if I don't get the thoughts off, right, then obviously I'm not. It's like putting together a puzzle, but deciding I'm not going to use all the pieces. How you going to get the full picture if you don't go ahead and put all the pieces out? You know what I'm saying?
So
So
then you understand when I would be telling, I would be telling my stories, and I tell, long stories, and then you would just interrupt me and be like, man, just run the lights. See, but that's the thing. I didn't want to leave out any puzzle pieces because you wouldn't have gotten the big picture.
well, okay, so I
Or you
have
trying to give me a ticket.
well, so I have a little bit of impatience. All right,
A little bit.
just there's some impatience involved here, especially when I feel like because all them lights, that's the gray, as we talk about over and over. That's the gray, and a lot of times I miss out on detail, I miss out on procedure, but I find myself justified. By the way, this is not the correct way to do things, but I find myself justified because if you run all the lights and we get to the same place that you was gonna take me, should you stop and explain everything? And I'm like, cool. We took the express route and we made it. Wasn't that the goal? Nope. The goal was by the time we get here, I need you to have a certain understanding of why we got here.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
Mhm.
and that was a little bit of a sidebar as well, people. But I do appreciate your patience and with me for being as black and white as I am.
Yeah. So um the other thing about the company that you keep,
Hmm.
it also works in reverse as far as, like, let's say that the company is failing, but you have a strong team.
Okay.
You have a strong team, then you're able to, sometimes you need them to, there's strength in numbers.
Okay.
So it's very important to have that team for when things are going well and when things aren't going so well.
Okay.
That team can be your crutch when you need them to be your crutch. And then when things are going well, they can just help to further propel you to heights that you probably didn't even realize you could attain on your own. So um, but yeah, I that's why I really, really love this quote. I've had an issue in the past with over the past few years, I've done a lot of growth, as you should do as you get older.
Hmm.
Um, and one of the things that I have had to learn is this quote right here,
Hmm.
that about the company that I keep. I have been an island. It's funny, you mentioned that earlier. I've been an
Hmm.
island because I have been let down so many times by people who were supposed to be doing business with me. There's a
Hmm.
plan, and we map out this plan, and then as we're on this path to achieve this success, they all of a sudden change.
Hmm.
And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with change. I mean, change is necessary because that's the only way that you grow. However,
Hmm.
they changed to the point that we not on the same path anymore. I don't even know if we're headed in the same direction
Hmm.
because something else is. You have been derailed. You have been derailed. So I ran into that so many times that now it's worked out for the good, and then it's also worked out not so good. Not so good because I have made myself an island when it comes to a lot of things. I have
Hmm.
shut down. I just will handle things on my own. I won't talk to people about it. I'll just go do it because at least then I don't have to depend on anybody else failing. If I
Okay.
fail, it's because of me. It's not because of anybody else. Now, on
Mm-hmm.
the flip side of this, the good side about it is I have taught myself to be self-sufficient.
Okay.
I have taught myself like when okay, if I'm supposed to be doing something, I partner up with somebody and they drop the ball, I just go learn how to do what they were supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
So now I have more knowledge. I
Right.
gain,
Right.
but I guess so the realization that I've come to over the years is that I need to surround myself with people who think like that,
Mm-hmm.
have that same type of thought process where we're going to get on this path to success. We're focused on the goal. We're not going to be derailed. Now, if at any point somebody's attention is taken off of the road, they going to look over them like, hey, listen, this is what's going on. I don't want to lose track of what the big picture is. I may
Mm-hmm.
need you to bring me back on course.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, I got you, because that's what a strong team does.
Mm-hmm.
But um but I also know that if I happen to be derailed, if I happen to be going off course, they're going to pull me back as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. And then again, just about the company that you keep, your team, because you don't want a bunch of yes men,
right,
right?
right,
You definitely don't want a bunch of yes men. You definitely don't want a bunch of people that are just waiting to be told what to do. Like, unless you give them an assignment, they don't even know why they're here.
right.
You know what
Hmm.
I mean? You want some independent thinkers. You want some people that's going to be able to take initiative. Um, and that's what's going to make the company a success. Because again, dude, like, being a millionaire, being a billionaire, that's not really what it's. I mean, obviously, that's money, right?
Hmm. Right.
But if you can go to work and your team loves coming to work,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? And you
Yeah.
love coming because that's what they say. If you love what you're doing, you'll never work another day.
Hmm.
I would prefer that over just never having another bill. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Or never
Right.
having to worry about another bill. I would love to be able to be in a position where I can maintain my family and it never feels like I've been to work.
So now you're talking about happiness, going back to what we first started talking about.
Yes, yes, and I guess there's definitely a distinction to be drawn between success and happiness, right?
Hmm.
Um, for some people, for some people, they're not successful until they're happy.
Right. Hmm.
For other people, they are completely unhappy, even though they've achieved what is widely accepted as success.
Hmm. Yeah.
Which because people equate success with money.
Right.
You know
Hmm.
what I mean? And and I guess I guess people don't really think about it enough about that. Because I
Hmm.
definitely, like in the beginning, I was saying, how could you be depressed and you achieve this and this and this and that? But yeah, because it's not about money at all. Like for instance, you, for instance, for you, you've been making music for a minute, right? And so for you to for you to make a dope like a hot 16 is not really like it's not hard work. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And
Hmm.
so, but for somebody else who has been working on this craft, and it's been a struggle. You know what I'm saying? For them
Hmm.
to achieve that same thing, it's a whole nother value added to it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I kind
Hmm.
of I kind of lost my train of thought. I hate that, man.
I hate when I do that too.
I hate that. I kind of lost my train of thought, and I'm sure the audience doesn't appreciate that at all. I'm sure they don't appreciate that at all. And forgive me, y'all. Sometimes, like I said, I talk too much and I got to running off, and I went off a little bit too far. So we're gonna have to come back to that. I hate that, man. I
the
hate it.
funny the funny thing is you had said something and it jogged the thought for me, and now
Mhm.
I forgot my thought as well.
Oh wow.
Uh, yeah, I know, right?
Um, we're gonna need to consider the company we're keeping at this point because we're not helping each other.
And this is not successful.
Not successful at all. That is not cool, yo. I think we have to. What's the thing? Is it what's the thing that was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Well, you could
The
was it phone
lifeline.
the yeah, there you go. There you go. A lifeline. Man, I was thinking phone a friend or something like that. But yeah, a lifeline would be great at a moment like that, man. Because oh man, and I was like, I was pretty excited about the point about where I was going, and now we'll just never know. All right. Well, I don't know. I'll think about it later. But um, anyway, nonetheless, I really appreciate your perspective on this because, like I said, um, I didn't think about, like I said, first of all, the very surface part of it, the very literal meaning of it, but I definitely didn't think about the team. Like, I was thinking about the people around you, but still more character wise, not as far as what they can contribute to the success of the company.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was thinking about it being a more personal situation. And um, that's actually probably, as we're talking about, that's probably something that has held me back because I feel like I got people like you, I got people like my wife, I got my man chef, you know what I mean? People that are around me that push me they encourage me, and I love it because nobody is just like beating me up because I haven't pulled the trigger on a bunch of stuff, but I love that the people here are pushing me. So I feel like now in the moment I'm like, wow, I really don't want to take y'all for granted. You know what I mean? Now I'm thinking about it. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yo, if I really want to show some appreciation for the support that you all have given me for the company that I do have, then I really need to build the company that I don't have yet. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I never thought about. I didn't think about that until just now because I always felt like, man, I got good people around me, but
Hmm.
I've never thought about what team to build towards a specific goal
Hmm.
in the way of business because I always, all right, this is my team. But y'all got your own goals for one.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it ain't like you sitting around like I talked about earlier. It ain't like y'all sitting around waiting for me to say, "Hey, let's do this." You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I just never thought about. Okay, I want to go. I want to start business, so I need a CPA. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I
Right.
need do I need a copyright trademark lawyer? You know what I mean?
Hmm. Hmm.
What printer should I use? I never thought about building that team. I just I just feel like whenever it happened, I'm supported otherwise, so it'll be whatever it is. But um
Right.
that's why I love this, man, because it's just I'm telling you, man, because we talk about quotes, which is the beginning of which essentially is the premise of the show, but the mirror part of the situation is that I get to see myself. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I get to see myself in a way that I wasn't looking at myself before, and I was
Hmm.
definitely standing only from the perspective of the quote itself, and not thinking about how I saw myself in it. So yeah, that's why I love this, man. Talk about doing something that you love and then not feeling like work, son. I ain't done no work for at least the last 53 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yep.
For
And you know what, man? Going back to what you were saying too, man. You need to compensate the people around you, your company. You need to compensate them according to their contributions.
Mm,
So if, like, for me as but for okay, you chose, when you were talking about being encouraged, you
mm-hmm,
mentioned me,
mm-hmm,
and just the way that I encourage you to become successful.
mm-hmm,
But your compensation to me would be to just become successful. You don't owe me any money or anything else other than that. The only
mm-hmm,
thing, because all that I've done, the only investment that I have done, I have invested into your spirit. I have
mm-hmm,
invested by encouraging.
mm-hmm.
So the return on that investment is you becoming successful.
So you don't want no check. That's what you're saying.
No, I ain't say that. I mean, if
I
you
think
got
that's
the
what you
check,
said. I
if
think
you
you
got
said
the
you don't.
checks,
You said you don't want no check. You said I'm
I mean,
good.
listen. If you got the checks, I got the accounts. But what I'm saying is, if you ain't got the checks, I ain't mad.
Right,
But if
right.
you
But
do
if
have the checks, I'm real happy.
no, I definitely get it, and the appreciation would be in both a tangible and an intangible manner. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
because I think that you definitely you know, you definitely have to compensate according to contribution or according to the value add, right?
Hmm.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Because you definitely can't just have cats, like many a '90s hip hop cat with the entourage of 15 people,
Hmm.
and you got your manager, your assistant, your assistant's assistant. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? It's just, and you start to
Your
break it down.
lawyer.
Just like, yeah,
Yeah.
but when you start to break it down, you got 15 people. Some of the people are paid just to walk down the hall with you.
Yeah.
Or should I
Yeah.
say, some of them are paid for, meaning so they might necessarily not necessarily receive a salary, but they ain't spending their own money. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because
Yeah.
you carrying them, and yeah, I don't
And
need
that's
no dead weight.
dangerous.
Yeah.
That is dangerous because and I highly encourage rappers or anybody with an entourage.
Mm,
Those people in your entourage, give them positions.
yeah.
Give them, if they're going to be there and they're going to be compensated in any way, don't just pay them to be around.
Hmm.
Because at some point, if you continue to become successful and your business mind changes as you get older, you become wiser. And at some
Hmm.
point, you're going to look at this person and say, you know what? All you're doing is just tagging along, and I'm just, you know, giving you money just to be a tag along.
Right.
Something's going to change. And then at that point, they're going to look at you and be like, well, you changed.
Mm.
And the crazy thing is, they're right. You did change, but you made a necessary change. They didn't. The problem is you enabled them to not make that necessary change.
Well, now in reference to that, though, I would also have to say that to that particular person, I did change, but I've grown, right?
Hmm.
And that was the change. And as you grow, I can use a couple of different examples. A snake is going to shed the skin; it's no longer necessary.
Hmm.
For a tree, you're gonna go through a seasons where the leaves and they're gonna fall off.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
and back to everybody can't go. And just carrying somebody like that, first of all, as a man, you really just gonna you decided that the full extent of your potential and ability is to ride the coattail of another cat.
Right.
Really? Come on, man. Come on, man. My wife ain't even doing that. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? My wife ain't even doing that. My kids are being raised to get their own situation. And you think as a
Right.
grown man, you're gonna just be, nah, that's not the company I can keep, homie.
Right. And
That's not the
that
company I
that
can keep.
that'll be the same company that'll bring you down.
Yeah, yeah. You see about that stuff. I don't even want to talk about that. For some reason I just thought about Nip and
You said who?
Nipsey.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Man. Rest in peace, King. But
Yeah,
um
definitely.
um yeah, you definitely don't want that kind of nonsense. And speaking of him, he had stepped away from that kind of nonsense. You
Right.
know what I mean? But
Mm.
haters gonna be haters. But at any
Hmm.
rate, yeah, man, I think this might be the first episode that I really felt like um I got both the quote and the mirror part. You know what I mean? Like really, you know what I mean? Because a lot of times I be coming to perspective like I'm holding up the mirror, allowing these people to see themselves in the quote.
Right.
You know what I mean? But in today's episode definitely flipped it around on me, and I was like, look at that. You like what you see? Maybe, maybe not. We'll talk about it off air. You know what I mean?
Ladies and gentlemen, you just witnessed growth in real time.
Exactly. I'm trying to tell you, yo, I'm humbled by the truth of that statement. You know what I mean? Because that was
Yeah,
for real. It was great. It was great. I feel better for real.
yeah,
So,
yeah. But that's,
and
you know
then,
what though? I try to walk away from each one of these podcasts, this podcast and my other podcast, actually, with almost every encounter of
mhm.
my life, I try to walk away with something.
Right, right.
I always look for an opportunity to grow. So even though I may not have said it, I may not have vocalized it on the show, there have been plenty of times where growth has occurred in real time for
Yeah,
me as well. So
that's dope, and I appreciate you clearing it up because when you first said it, with every encounter, I try to walk away with something. You sounded like a thief, but um, I'm glad that you went ahead and cleared that up, allow that to come full circle. Because I was like, well, I guess maybe he can't come to the house or something like. I ain't seen my watch since the last time he was here. So.
I ain't say I run away with something. I
You
just
didn't.
walk.
Well, if you confident enough that you got away with it. But anyway, we coming up on time, and I look like actually the time is for you to give us a quote for next week.
Yes, absolutely. So next week's quote is going to be, "You don't just marry the person, you marry the family."
Oh boy. Oh boy. That one is gonna be interesting. Yeah, we gonna have to dig
Yeah.
off into that one because right off the top, I don't even. Oh man, that was gonna be okay. That was gonna be cool. I think I'm gonna definitely because I've been trying to catch what you've been doing. We're taking some notes, but that one I got some notes for right away.
Right. I know you do.
Right away, right away. So cool. That's gonna be dope. That's gonna be dope.
Yeah.
But yeah, we want to thank you all for listening. Episode 8. Go ahead and bring it to to a close, and we're looking forward to next week. And I believe it. You know what? I'm gonna let you continue to close us out because I always mess it up.
No, you
Yeah, I
good.
do. Every time we get to the stage right here, I always mess it up, and I just be verbalizing my anxiety. But I'm gonna let you go ahead and continue to do your thing.
But you know what it is? Ending is always the hardest thing. It's hard because you remember, like in the beginning. I mean, like when we first started the show, I was like, "Bye."
Right.
Like, it's always hard to try to figure out how to, like when you're on the phone with somebody and you be like, "All right, then, all right, cool, bye, all right, bye, all right, then, all right." You're like, yo, shut up and hang up, yo.
Yo, that is crazy. It is, and it gets to the point, you know, where you're not even saying words no more. You just like,
Right.
all right, yeah, all right.
All right, keep it up. That's how we gonna start ending the show.
No, we will not. This is like that. The premise of this show is words, so we will be using words. We will be using words, but since you're basically since you gonna leave it to me to close it out this week, is that what's happening?
Oh no, I can do it. I can do
All
it.
right.
It was just last week. Last week was so smooth because you were like, "This is uncommentary," and then I came right in with, "And this is Tyrell James," and on that note, and I went ahead and ended it. Like that was perfect.
Oh,
We didn't even like rehearse or nothing. Like
we didn't. All
nah, it was
right.
just perfect.
Well,
You know.
don't fix it if it ain't broke. Because this has been uncommentary.
And this is Tyrell James, and on that note, and I quote, "Peace out."
Peace.